started.
Thank you.
Ruthie,
Here.
staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Jericho Mealy, Jericho,
Was just here.
yeah, I'm going to Ann. Ann,
I'm here.
okay, Jericho? No,
He was here.
he was, he's not
I
responding.
can hear him talk. Oh, there he is.
Hey, Jericho,
I am here. Sorry, I was just on the phone.
okay. Good morning. This is an open meeting of the Contract Review Committee. Is being conducted remotely consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of the public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with the agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded, so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless each participation is required by law. The meeting will feature, as of now, no public comment. For this meeting, the CRC is conveying by video Zoom conference as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials that have been provided members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I, the chair, note otherwise. We are now turning to the first item. Before we do, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective, clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, the chair, will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called further. Please remember to mute your phone and computer when you are not speaking, and please remember to speak clearly in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. After members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment. Public comment is not in this. And the one thing I will state is that we will be discussing a document that is not on the town website right now, yet, as of yet. Okay. So can I get an approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Brooke,
Aye.
Ruthie,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
John Balash,
Aye.
Joanna.
Aye.
Okay, hi, everybody. I would like, yes, I guess it's part of the deliberations. So everybody, we left last week with a discussion. We had made some recommendations. And I had given some information out that was given to me as we were going into the Zoom meeting. I'm going to stand to correct some of that information and then give you some further information. Sorry, I just noticed that I'm not on video. I apologize. I stated at the beginning of last meeting that Jericho and I had gone and met with the hospital, and in doing so, had asked them about funds which they could not identify. We talked with Sarah and Elvis. Then they called me in the morning to say they had just found out about the information. through emails that had gone out and text messages, which is what I presented to our board. And now I'm going to stand for clarification of new information that came into me in the afternoon. They had tried calling me back right while we were in the meeting. I did not pick up the phone because it was inappropriate. The only call we did take was Brian Turbert's, which had to do with our deliberations, and as the finance director was an appropriate call for us to accept. The phone call from the afternoon told me that under section 15B of the hospital grant, you will find that they show that they received $105,000 from the state of Massachusetts in fiscal year 2021 for ambulatory care. So we did not identify that nor see that, nor did they identify that to us in any conversation. So that is where we stand to be corrected. Now I go on to the other information. We have asked whether or not they can have access to these funds in fiscal year 2022, and they do not have an answer for us in fiscal year 2022. In regards to insurance, we had asked, a question had come up previously by Brooke, I believe. And Brooke, can you confirm that you were the one that asked that question?
Yes, I asked about it several times in our meeting and also in our meeting with them.
Okay, so now I'm going to elaborate the information that I found out in the afternoon and then got reaffirmed yesterday when I went up again and spoke with the hospital about the funding. In my conversation with them on that afternoon, and it was a woman named Sandra I spoke with. She identified the fact that some of it can be reimbursed with insurance through the private carrier. And so I asked, are you telling me that the money, they can bill the town or bill the hospital and bill an insurance carrier? And she said, yes. And I said, so you're telling me that a trip to Worcester that might be $4,600 can end up costing close to $10,000? And she said, are you accusing us of double dipping? And I said, no, I am not. I am trying to better understand what you are trying to tell me at this moment in time. Are you telling me that the carrier can collect that money and collect? And she goes, I believe they can. I'm not sure. And it was not a very good conversation. It didn't go very far. They were very defensive. And then brought up the question about the steamship authority. And I asked, she said, well, all of our things on the steamship authority are the hospital, are for behavioral health. And I said, could you please identify that? How do you know? Because you clearly state you cannot identify that in your grant. And she said, well, we don't really know, but we know. And I said,
What?
yeah, let me finish, please. No comment. And I said, could you, that makes no sense to me. And then she went back to say, well, every single ambulance carry that goes out is in regards to behavioral health. And I said, well, that is not what your grant identifies. Your grant identifies some that are for general health. She was in a hurry and needed to go. I got off the phone. I was pretty upset. I reached out, I would be honest with you, to Brian, to Jericho, to Ann, and spoke about it. I spoke with Joanna Roach because she was a FinCom member and did not want any recommendations to go out until I was actually able to speak to everybody again. So I did speak to Joanna about it. So Joanna has a little bit of the information, not what happened yesterday. So I went up with Ann yesterday to meet with them because I was pretty upset and called and asked for another meeting, and they scheduled it for yesterday. I addressed the funding. We had given them the resource to call. They had reached out to Sears' office, who had told them that that was part of the Health and Human Services and couldn't give them any definitive answer on the funding. And whether it would be available and how it actually reads for how much money is available. I asked, had they pursued with Jeff Soares to find out whether he can help them get a contact to have some kind of idea, and then explained that in the contract, or in the grant, it clearly didn't state that they had accessibility, and I understand they might not have. But that also, when asked by both Jericho and I, when we were in a meeting, and also asked that nobody has really ever identified that some of these funds are reimbursed for some of the costs. So we've asked them to pursue it. We let them know that the contract rate now, we are not paying the second quarter of fiscal year 2022's until we have further information in regards to what they might get for fiscal year 2022. We went on to have a conversation about the insurance, and it was confirmed that Coastal can ask for funding for insurance from the party. So whether it's somebody's private insurance, and can then bill the town, or bill, not the town, I'm sorry, the hospital for the funds to cover that ambulance service. They told me that is common practice with some ambulance services. We then asked about the steamship authority. They told me there was no way that they could track that, which I find with keeping 101 makes no sense, because if you have an ambulance service on June 1st and you have a steamship authority bill on June 1st, you should be able to track your funding. And the party, Sarah's boss, was in a hurry and needed to leave our meeting, and she left. We continued with the conversation with Sarah. We did initially ask who was in charge of writing the grants and was anybody else involved. And we asked whether or not they pursue any other grant funding. What we did find out is up until, and I believe, and Anne can be the one to correct me if I'm wrong, up until they've always had some kind of assistance with their funding. One was through a thing called, I believe, TIP funding, which came through the Department of Transportation. And there might have been 1 year that they lacked. That clearly, I'm not sure that under Chris Kowacki, there is actually a grant writer in their department. And what was clear, I believe, for both Anne and I, is that Sarah writes this grant with being asked to write the grant. She is not a grant writer. She's a social service person and would prefer to just be able to talk to us about social services. So after hearing this information, what comes to me was that there's a clear line that we are not getting straight answers, that being part of a program that actually allows for multiple sources to fund a full ambulance service or not is not something I'm comfortable with. I am not comfortable with the fact that there is no effort made to go for any other resource. And clearly that we might be that carrot that's dangling that's very easy to get. And years ago, David Worth had said we should only fund this once, and held the hospital to a higher accounting of having to fund it themselves. I believe that funding the hospital's ambulatory, they thought that if we didn't fund it, we were not supporting behavioral health initiative, the behavioral health or the patients that need it. It is, with the amount of money that they are able to raise, and the fact that I don't believe that we've had complete transparency and honesty from the hospital in their efforts of the ambulatory service, that funding the ambulance at this point should be taken out of our wheelhouse. And that is my opinion after the time that we spent with them. There was just too much. Nobody seems to have the right answer to anything that we are asking, or an appropriate answer. And to me, that's a lot of money that we might be funding, that somebody might be getting $10,000 or, you know, $9,000 for one ambulance trip. So with that being said, I will open it up to comment. I saw that Brooke had her hand up, and I'll go to Brooke first.
Just as a matter of procedure, I'd like to make a motion to reopen the deliberations because we did vote on the allocations. So I think I'd like to reopen that discussion.
As a matter of
Officially.
procedure, we cannot reopen a vote that was taken at a previous meeting. You can only reopen it at the meeting, a reconsideration at the same meeting that we voted. So we
I
have
don't-
to start over.
Linda, I don't think that's true. The finance
It is.
committee does it. We do it all the time.
I know, I've been through this with the planning board and the HDC and town council.
I mean, we do it all the time.
Before we go back and forth on this one, may I ask for the official rules of this particular thing? Are we doing Roberts?
Yep.
I will look that up. We can table this for just a moment.
Votes for reconsideration of a vote has to be taken at the same meeting. that the vote
Muting
was
for a
taken.
minute.
So I'm being very uncomfortable unless we start over with consideration. And it's not
Well-
on the agenda that we are doing that, and that's another problem. I would rather have another meeting and have it posted that we're going to reallocate, or however you want to phrase it. But it can't be at this meeting because it is not posted as we are revoting.
Well, I can just speak from my own experience that we have reopened many votes that we have taken in subsequent meetings without having to post them. What it was required was a motion from a member of the committee to reopen the vote, a second, and a vote to reopen.
I'm not comfortable with that. Being is that I've come from, the regulatory side where we can't do that. We can't do it at the HDC, we can't do it at the planning board, and we can't do it at the ZBA.
Well, let's see what
Unless the
Jared.
regulatory boards are different. We would have to read, what usually has to happen is somebody has to reapply, and it has to be posted. I don't know what our agenda says. I didn't look at the agenda. I've got it here somewhere.
It says deliberations, so.
Well, I just state my concerns about this on an open meeting law violation. If y'all want to do it, fine, but I just need to put myself on the record that I have concerns.
Proxy voting, votes are null if unanimous, motions requiring more than majority vote. Nothing in here about reopening anything in terms of voting.
Well, it's in the open meeting law. That's obviously a separate law in the state. And it's pretty aggressive.
Okay, while we're doing that, I just need to,
You guys move on ahead. I'll keep digging on that part.
well, yeah, well, Jericho, this might have to do with that, so before you dig on. I just got a phone call from Dr. Lepre, from Duncan at Dr. Lepre's office. Is everybody on and can hear me? Somebody is live, if they can shut off their computer, their mute. We had reached out to Dr. Lepre because we did not have his full grant application with a budget and or the tax returns, which are required under section 12 of the grant process through the finance department.
Mm.
Dr. Lepre just called to say he's going to withdraw his application because he doesn't have the ability to get a tax return to us and that he would like to withdraw, and they have no budget and no present budget presentable. I would like that has been their request. When that is the request, we are required to pull their grant request. I would like to, but that call just came in and I was trying to talk to them while you guys were debating this, and I'm sorry, but it did have to do with this and a request that we had put out for accurate information under section 12 required by the finance department. So, and by legal in our contract. So
Is that required for the cannabis side also, or is that a slightly different thing?
it is required for everybody.
Okay,
It is for anybody over $25,000. Brooke?
Um, I suggest we adjourn this meeting, schedule a new
Mhm.
meeting, and get clarification on all of these open meeting questions and other legalities so that we can go
Yes,
back
I
and
agree.
start from scratch.
I
Yes,
agree.
excuse me, I was going to make that recommendation. So,
because we're gonna have to reallocate the cannabis stuff now.
Yep.
so,
boy.
so everybody, so first and foremost, I appreciate your time. I guess I sent out a report to everybody that will have to be modified now after our meeting. So we need to look at times. We are supposed to meet, I'm supposed to present March 7th to the FinCom. I'm taking my first vacation in years this Sunday for 3 or 4 days to go see my grandkids. So I am going to be gone the 28th to the 3rd. I guess I can do it via Zoom from there if we want to schedule, but I don't know how many people are doing things for school vacation week.
I am, but I'll make myself available. And just to clarify, I asked Denise about the rules. And she's telling me that we can reopen a vote if there's a majority of members who agree and it has been posted.
Yeah,
So we have to post it.
Okay. So that's what we'll do. So I'm going to go roll call to everybody. Okay. And let's see what I have to be able to get this report to FinCom. The latest would be March 4th. Right? That gives them enough days to look at the report. So
Dorothy, do we have time to post a meeting for Friday?
only if it's after 10 o'clock. Actually, they only post twice a day. They post at 10 and 2.
how many people are available Friday? Are you here, Joanna, Friday?
No, but I'll already be in Puerto Rico.
Oh, Puerto Rico, when we have a storm. Yay. Remember that storm is coming Friday, guys. If anybody's leaving, they got to leave before that.
Yes, I'm leaving before that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm available. It would have to be an afternoon meeting. It could be
2
no
p.m.
earlier than
maybe?
2 p.m.
It would have to be after 2 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ruthie?
Yes, I'm available Friday at 2 p.m. and that's because we're going to stop this meeting today, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's,
Would make it for 2:30 just in case they don't post it on time.
yeah.
Yes.
'Cause
John
they don't post right at 2.
Balash, are you available?
I'm available at 2 on Friday and I know I have an appointment at 12, but I'll be over by 1.
Okay, so we're gonna make it, I'm gonna post it with the recommendation of, I'm gonna make a recommendation that we do it for 2:30. Brooke, are you available?
I have 1 hour at 2:30. I have another meeting at 3:30.
Oh. Okay.
Well, we should be able to figure it out by then, hopefully.
Well,
I don't-
hopefully we'll have all the right information in front of us to be able to do it. If everybody, and any information that comes out, we will get to you prior to our meeting on Friday.
Because the cannabis thing should be fairly easy because now we're just down to the 2 and that's more money for the 2 of them. But the reallocation, if we're going to do something with the hospital, we're going to have to reallocate those funds.
Correct. So I think that what we'll do is, hold on, Brooke, we will get you the everybody the current information. And or the up-to-date information as quickly as we can. Brooke?
Dorothy, if there's any way you can sort of scope out, because remember a couple of years ago, it came through the FinCom, I guess, a recommendation or someplace from somewhere that the ambulance doesn't put in on its own into town meeting anymore, and that the ambulance gets their funding from us.
I think
So-
that was a recommendation one year. We'll make sure that I'll find out where that is. Yes, I will.
I just don't want to get in trouble with the people that made the recommendation that they get their funding through us and that we have a reasonable explanation for this.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. We will look into that. Brooke?
Dorothy, I would be curious if you and Jericho could find out what happens if we don't allocate 100% of the cannabis money? I know that there's a warrant article to set up a stabilization fund for that funding. And I don't know whether, if we don't spend it all, whether we can put some of it in the stabilization fund for a future project if we decide we don't want to split it among the two applicants that we have on the table. I just want to have that question answered. So,
Okay.
Maybe not, we may
thanks.
not be able to do that until next fiscal year because of the way the warrant article is written.
right. So if we don't spend it, does it drop in the general fund and
And we don't
or-
want that.
so anyway, I just would love clarification on that while we're on the list of the nitty gritty details.
Okay. With that being said, does somebody want to make a motion? Brooke?
Move to adjourn.
Second,
Okay, I'm gonna roll call it. John,
Aye.
Brooke,
Aye.
Ruthie,
Aye.
Linda,
I,
Joanna?
aye,
Okay. Joanna,
yes.
have a safe travels. We'll see you when you're in the sunny Puerto Rico.
Thank you very much.
the palm trees behind her.
Well, I'll try not to torture you.
Enjoy it a great deal. I'm happy
All
for you.
right. Bye,
Okay.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
I'm gonna
Bye,
get,
y'all.
I'm gonna get Ann to get that agenda posted immediately.
Thank
Okay,
you.
hey, and Jericho, when you have a chance, let's talk. Thanks. Bye, everybody.
I.